Welcome to the Inside LBI podcast, where we are coming to you live from Beach House Realty in Ship Bottom, New Jersey. I'm your host, Mike Spark, joined by my co-host, Kevin Bergen, and special guest, Steff Maggs from the Sandy Avocado Surf Camp. Welcome, Steff.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Well, a brief background on Steff. She is a professional skimboarder, amateur surfer, and business owner here on Long Beach Island. So whether you're looking to catch your first wave, improve your riding, learn new tricks, or try new boards, Sandy Avocado Surf Camp is your solution.
We've got you.
So how do we get the name Sandy Avocado?
Oh, I wish it was more of an exciting story than it is.
You dropped your avocado in the sand and said, darn, I should surf camp.
Yep, that's it. I was actually out to lunch in Costa Rica one year. It was the year that I was transitioning from only offering skimboarding to offering surfing as well. And I was trying to come up with a name, and my boyfriend Matt dropped his avocado in the sand, and here we are.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Sandy Avocado Surf Camp.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So that's kind of how we started our company. We said we should call it Beach House Realty, and we had an agent who's no longer here, and she said, well, that's a dumb name. And I said, what do you sell? And she said, oh, yeah, that's a good name. So
It's as easy as that.
And you'd think in the world of real estate, Beach House Realty.
Yeah.
in all of New Jersey with 109 miles of coastline, that nobody had that as a company name.
That's incredible.
It's kind of beyond me.
It was meant to be.
It's meant to be.
Sometimes these things just fall in.
They fall in the sand.
Yep, they fall in the sand.
So, go ahead, Mike. I mean, I have a million questions.
Yeah. I guess first and foremost, where did you learn to surf? What brought you to the sea? Are you originally from Long Beach Island, or tell us a little bit about your background?
So I wasn't born here. I was born in Northeast Philadelphia. I lived there primarily until I was 14 or 15 years old. My family had always vacationed in LBI, in Beach Haven, of course. We would come down for a week every summer, get stuck in the traffic on the bridge with everybody else.
Nothing's changed.
No.
Not listening to our podcast, by the way.
And when I was around the age of 11, I believe, my mom and my stepdad decided to purchase a summer home here. And it was around this time that I started becoming interested in surfing and skimboarding and riding waves, because they would force me to come down every weekend, and I had no friends and nothing to do, and I needed something to do. You know, I was younger, I had a lot of energy. We were on the beach all the time, so that's when I picked it up.
I love it.
I learned right here on LBI.
Wow. So, I mean, you have a pretty incredible background, and like Mike said, you were a professional skimboarder at one time. Like, how does somebody become a professional skimboarder?
That's quite the niche avenue to roll down to.
It definitely is.
Especially being from New Jersey. I mean, I could imagine Florida.
Especially being coming from Northeast Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
definitely.
is true. This is true.
You know, we used to have really, really great skimboarding here on the island when we had jetties. And, you know, we still do, not as much. Little insider tip, Barnegat Light still does have really great skimboarding.
I thought we weren't giving away surf spots.
That's
here.
the only
we're
one.
not giving
That's
away
a skim
surf
spot.
Skim spot's okay.
Skim spot's okay. And yeah, I just learned here on the beaches, and I really loved it. Like a lot of people with surfing, when I was first getting into the sport, I had a somewhat traumatic experience. Of course, now looking back on it, it wasn't anything serious, but as it's happening, it's traumatizing. I was out on my own, and I went under the water for maybe less than a minute, but being all alone and being tossed around is really deterring from continuing with something, you know, when that fear has been pushed inside of you and you believe that you're not safe. So that's what actually pushed me to start skimboarding more. I felt safer on the beach and not being out in the water, and I just kept running with it, figuratively and literally.
I love it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I tried it once, and I literally almost killed myself.
I've
So I
almost
hit
done
the
that a few
ground
times.
so hard, I couldn't believe that it was possible to, like, a major thump, right?
Oh, between hitting your shins, face planting, all of the above. It's a very admirable sport.
Really. Not easy. God bless you. And it's
takes,
amazing.
It takes a lot of slams and a lot of getting used to make it up to that professional division, I think.
Definitely. And I guess talking about professions, where did this sport take you?
So I started competing when I was about 15 or 16. My mom used to drive myself and my friends from the island all around to the contest. So here in New Jersey and Delaware. And I started building my skimboarding friendships from there. I just kept competing. I loved competing and I loved the sport. So I just stuck with it. And that eventually brought me to teaching. When I was about 18 or 19 years old, I was teaching up in Seabright with Jersey Shore Skim Camp. And that's actually what helped me with my personal development within the sport and also my professional career. Kind of taking that step back and taking time to think about the fundamentals of learning and taking time to teach those techniques really actually helped me perfect my techniques. And I started getting noticed by some bigger companies and I landed some major sponsorships and I started my professional career.
I love it.
It's amazing.
It's so cool to see that coming, especially.
What is a 15 or 30-second synopsis of being in a skimboard competition look like? Like, are we talking about tricks into the waves? Are we talking about longevity
Getting
on
barreled.
the board? Like
All of the above.
all the above?
There's two different types of skimboarding.
Okay.
I should say that. There is flatland, which you can do anywhere.
Like
in a puddle.
when
Yeah.
the island floods.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something to do for the kids.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's wave riding skimboarding, which is what I do. And that's where we're actually running out and riding the waves. There's all different types of maneuvers. So riding the wave back to shore, getting barreled, doing shove-its, big spins, all sorts of stuff. And during a competition, that is what the judges are looking for.
And is a perfect wave considered one where you both walk in and walk out?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's swag right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. So getting back to kind of what this brought you into, starting Sandy Avocado Surf Camp, can you talk a little bit about the programs that you offer? I understand there's a great program for girls and women, and yeah, give us a little insight.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about our programs this year. Growing up in board sports, when I was younger, there weren't as many girls as there are now. So I was always riding with the guys, which was fine. I had a great group of friends. We all loved going out there together. But there is something to be said as a female when you have another girl to ride with and that camaraderie and that experience of sharing those waves together, because we are a minority still in these board sports. So the programs that I developed this year pretty much came from that. I do have our classic surf and skimboarding camp, which is for boys and girls. That's for ages 7 to 12. That's the program that I've been offering for several years now. And this summer, I'm launching the Island Girls Surf Immersion. And that program is for girls age 7 to 16. And that's a little bit more sport focused. So we're on the beach for longer hours. We're getting more into the techniques of surfing. We're offering surf skate as well, which helps practice surf maneuvers on the pavement. And we do all kinds of stuff. So we have art, games, all the good stuff from the regular program. And that program I'm super excited about because it's pretty much the surf camp of my dreams when I was a younger girl.
This is awesome. I mean, there's nothing like this nor has there been. And you're taking sport from a weekend hobby and actually letting people find their avenue.
And where do people go, like from your early students, as it were, your early campers? Have you heard from them? Are they still surfing? Are they surfing competitively? Are they
high school surf teams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Where are they?
That's a great question.
Are they working for you?
Yeah, all
Are
of
they
the
working
above.
for you?
All
Right.
of the above. That's what's been so beautiful about having this program is watching and seeing and being right there alongside so many of the campers growing in the sport, growing as people in a really supportive environment. So most of my instructors for our surf and skim camp right now used to be campers themselves.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's really cool.
A vertical model.
Right.
Keeps on giving back.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
so
fun.
Cool. You have been working with Black Sheep Studios, is that correct, down in Haven Beach?
Yeah, I just started with them this year.
And I understand that there is a new class being offered, never seen here before. And is this something, before I give it away, it's something you picked up down in Costa Rica, no?
Yes. Costa Rica, I was brought there by my love for surfing, of course, world-class waves. I had first traveled there. This was my first solo travel trip that I had ever taken in my life. I was 22 or 23, something like that. Brought me to Costa Rica. I eventually went back 10 years later, refell in love. Little side bit, I just recently built a house there, so it is somewhat of a home now. And I started working with a training program down there this past year. It's called DFI Surf Training. It was developed by a trainer and good friend now, Valentin Gomez from Argentina. He's a wonderful coach, amazing surfer, and he developed this program based around surfing. So it's called functional surf training. And we focus on correcting the posture of the body, working with the functionality of the body as a whole. And of course, it's applied to surfers, but it really could be applied to athletes or anybody just interested in moving better.
Golfers.
Yeah,
golfers old golfers, sure.
Yeah, young, old, it doesn't matter what age.
That's awesome. And so that's being held at Black Sheep Studios, right, in Haven Beach.
Yep.
And how many days a week are you offering that?
So that class is offered on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:30
a.m. or p.m.?
p.m.
Oh,
yeah.
How convenient.
Yeah, we actually put it at that hour so that anybody who's at work or if you're surfing during the day, you still have time in the afternoon to come and check it out. And we also just added on the weekends, it's going to be on Saturday mornings. We'll have another functional training class followed by a recovery class, which is my favorite class. We just roll on a foam roller and a tennis ball for an hour.
Oh, wow.
It's lovely.
I could use that.
Everybody can use that.
Everybody can use that. So tell us a little bit about your private lessons. Who do you get? What's the youngest person you've ever had? What's the oldest person you've ever had?
Oh, man.
When the people finish your class, is it an hour? Is it 2 hours? Can they go surf without an instructor present?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think one of the main things that I pride myself in my teaching and my programs and with my team is anybody that comes to learn with us, you're standing up on a board and riding within the first 30 minutes. We've never...
Is that a guarantee?
Yeah, that's a guarantee. It no matter how old or young you are, the youngest that we've ever taught is 4 years old. And the oldest student that I've ever had was actually 75, and that was skimboarding.
Skimboarding? No.
Yeah.
I want to meet that woman.
Yeah.
Let's get her on. That is.
How about surfing?
Surfing, the youngest was 4. And the oldest so far that I've taught for surfing, I believe, was actually down in Costa Rica when I was teaching surfing down there years ago. And I believe my student was in their 40s. And about 3 times my size. So it was a good lesson. It was a good learning lesson for all of us.
Never too old to learn, huh?
Never too old to learn. And lessons primarily are around an hour to 2 hours. We always keep it around the 2-hour mark in our schedule, but we base it on everybody's ability. So if someone needs to stop earlier, that's okay. We base it on how everybody's feeling during the lesson.
So do you try and feel out special requests before the participant shows up, or...
special requests meaning
somebody who might need a little more special attention.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's a whole briefing before we meet and a few questions that they need to answer on a form, like what a student is looking to achieve, what their experience level is, and with more detailed lessons, like the Women's Weekend that I'm offering now, that's for ages 21 and up. I actually dive a little bit deeper into getting to know each student. So I want to know what their biggest fears are, what their challenges are, how they deal with fear, what makes them happy, some of their greatest achievements that they feel in their life, which as a coach, this helps me to be able to better serve my students.
Absolutely. And I guess what you mentioned earlier is that you might have some hidden fears that have kept you from being open to the ocean and, kind of overcoming those fears. So.
Oh yeah, we all do.
Like sharks, or
oh yeah,
I'm sure
sharks
that's a big
too.
one.
People have a fear of sharks
all the time.
That's probably one of your biggest questions, isn't it?
One of the biggest questions. And it's funny, once you're out there, you kind of just get used to seeing them, and they're there. They're in the ocean. They're never not there.
They're never not there.
They're never not. Oh, pause. Steff's coming out. So I guess for the listener, important question would be, I'm driving here on a Friday, Saturday, whatever day of the week. Can I just call the next morning, Monday morning, and be like, hey, can I get on the beach with your team? Or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. We take walk-ins. We take last-minute clients. We have so much availability for private lessons, whether it's surfing, skimboarding, and this year skateboarding as well. And especially on the weekends.
Yeah.
I used to work in the restaurant industry for the last 16 years. I actually just stopped.
Oh.
So my weekends are open for the first time in my life. So plenty of availability. Yeah.
And how many students will you have a year? I'm really like campers. Was my
Over
question.
200.
200 campers.
Yeah.
And how many individual lessons do you give?
Oh, wow. Well, over the last 4 years, there have been at least 100 a season.
That's incredible.
Wow.
I guess the more important part is it's not just you running this. So how many instructors do you have? And is there a ratio that you find is effective in getting people to reach their goals?
Yes, and that's such a great question. I'm so glad that you asked because, of course, so much of my business is me, but I'm in reality only half of it. I could not do what I'm doing without my team, and I'm so thankful for them. So I have a marketing team that I work with this year that's an all-female based team out of Colorado, and my physical team that's here with me on LBI. Like I mentioned, a lot of them used to be campers, and they're now instructors. This season, I have 9. The past 4 years, I had 14 that I was leading every day. I kind of scaled back a little bit this year, especially since I'm back to teaching as well.
Of course.
But everybody has been great. Every employee that has ever worked for us has become such a great team member, and we have all kept in touch over the years, and it's a really awesome work environment. I mean, we're on the beach every day.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. Do you see the camp growing beyond LBI? LBI in Costa Rica, of course.
I do. Actually, this year, the main item that I have written so large on my whiteboard is bi-coastal. That's the goal by the end of 2023 to have this program set up in another state, at least in the United States, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So it could be the west coast of Florida, or it could be the west coast of the United States.
Right.
California.
Yeah.
Or it could be the west coast of Ireland.
It could be.
A lot of surfing schools in Ireland.
Yeah.
Different waves, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah, there's a lot of surfers out there.
Are there different waves on the west coast and the east coast?
Of the United States?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I'm sorry to all my East Coasters. I love the Pacific. I prefer it. I don't do well in cold water or weather. I'm definitely a snowbird as I fly south to Costa Rica every year.
Yep.
And with the Atlantic, if you're not familiar with how the waves work out here, we have a lot more wind swell than ground swell because of the location of the plates underneath the water. So more of our waves are created by that wind blowing in, which makes the waves to crash a lot quicker. And for all of our listeners, if you can't see me, I'm doing a lot of hand motions right now. So the waves break a lot faster. So when you're dropping in on a wave or taking off on a wave, on the Atlantic, you have to be very quick, especially here on LBI, because, you know, we sit out a little bit further than everybody else, and we tend to have a little bit more wind than a lot of areas around here. So you really have to be on your toes. You really have to be fast. When you're out in the Pacific, the plates are located so much closer to the coast, so there's a lot more activity happening under there, which creates more ground swell. So the waves like to roll in a lot softer than they do here on the East Coast. So when you're going to take off or pop up, you have so much time to basically look both ways on the wave and figure out, okay, now I'll pop up now nice and easy and take off and cruise down the wave. And the waves stay open, we call it, a lot more. So there's a lot more A-frames, a lot more point breaks, but we still have really great waves here too.
I saw some people surfing in San Francisco once.
Oh, yeah.
And the waves seemed so much bigger. And they seemed to be on them for so much longer than they do back here.
Yes.
Different world, huh?
Different world. But if you can surf on the East Coast, you can surf anywhere.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, Steff, it has been, I mean, what a treat. I really had no idea what we were getting into. I've learned something. Kevin's learned something. This has been a very inspiring session. And if you guys want to find out more, where can we find out more to get involved with Sandy Avocado?
Well, we operate on Taylor Avenue in Beach Haven. We'll be there all summer. And if you ever have a question about our lessons, our operations, or even just some tidbits on where to surf or proper boards to pick out, just reach out and we're happy to answer anything. And thank you both so much for having me here today. This was great.
You're welcome. It's
great
great
to
meeting
see
you.
Yeah.
It's been such a treat. And
Where will we meet her again?
it seems like we'll see her on the beach.
On the
see you on
beach.
the
Come
beach.
surf.
We'll see you on the beach.
See you on the beach.
Thanks
All right.
for coming.
Thank
See ya.
you.